Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Online Creators Association's Thursday Night Live. We don't have a plan tonight. I know we usually don't have a plan, but usually there's like at least 15 minutes of stuff that I've got in my head ready for like 5 minutes before the stream. Just so much has been happening to all of us all of the time, and I'm tired.
Sometimes we're all humans, and not only that, we're all humans at the same time, and it's really inconvenient. But have you seen the new notification about TikTok rolling out the, nothing I said was words. Who viewed your profile?
I did. I'm the one who posted that in chat.
Oh, I didn't see the chat. I just saw the notification about 15 minutes ago when I opened the app.
Mm-hmm.
To which my brain said, who asked for this? Not me. Everything does happen so much. You're not wrong. I should say, Horse eBooks is not wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I really do truly love TikTok's audacity to continue to introduce features and opt-ins for things that nobody wants.
Yeah, let's talk about this a little bit actually, because like I am curious whether this is going to be something that people decide they want.
It gives me
like Blythe says, I kind of want it because I'm nosy. Like I don't want it because I feel like I would feel creepy who's visiting my page, and also the only people I could get information about using that feature are other people who are being creepy about who's visiting their page.
Right. It reminds me of way back when, I don't know if it still exists, there was a browser extension that let you see.
I had no idea that TikTok used to have this feature.
What?
Starlight's Falls says it's so weird because they used to have it years ago.
Kind of, but different. I think I know what you're talking about. Because if I remember correctly, you could see like how many people visited your profile, but you couldn't necessarily see like the drill down of who exactly visited your profile. But to me, it just reminds me of when Facebook there was like a browser extension on Facebook where you could see when people were actually physically looking at your page. And it's very like, I don't want my ex to know that I'm stalking them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know. It hits the paranoia center of my brain. So.
Yeah, it's kind of like, it's a little bit like read receipts. But like people really like read receipts.
Yeah. I'm wondering if it went away originally because that probably presents an issue for minors. In terms of just like, if you can see who's accessing your profile.
Like I like read receipts because I find it very reassuring when a friend doesn't text me back for 2 months, to be able to go on their profile or to be able to go into the message thread and see that they still haven't even looked at that message.
Right.
Because like I know what it's like to have like just a message that you like left the notification. Like they may have even read it, but they haven't gone so far as to open the thread. So it's not like they opened it, read it, and decided not to respond. It's like they're putting off responding.
Right. Or like they had a me moment where you see the little notification pop up on your thing and you swipe it away thinking, I'll get to that when I have time. And then your ADHD brain goes, what message?
Mm-hmm. It's me and all of my friends.
Exactly. It's fine. Don't worry about it. But, it's totally an object permanence thing. I have to make a thing for the door of my fridge that has like, hey, these meals only take 10 minutes or less to make and you have everything you need to make them. because otherwise my brain goes, there is no food in this house.
Mm.
We've just gone grocery shopping, but brain says there's no food.
Yeah, I really need to do stuff like that. I went grocery shopping this morning, just got like some stuff like bread and milk because things like the cereal and cold cuts were not getting eaten because I didn't have the things that go with them.
Why is it that when you said bread and milk, my brain was like, are we getting a snowstorm?
And I came home and I put the stuff away, and my brain just like assumed that because I'd spent like a half an hour in the kitchen,
that you ate.
I had eaten.
It's just nice to know that this is a universal. I should say universal, but it's like it's not a me specific thing. There's a wider net of people who experience this.
Mm-hmm.
I do that with water a lot, where I'll walk into the kitchen with my water bottle, put it down, and like wash dishes, and then assume that because I was in the kitchen, I also drank water, only to have my roommate come in with a full water bottle and put it in front of me and look at me like I'm a fucking donut, which is not too far from the truth.
Yeah. I also get food assistance because I'm broke. And I'm not good at like figuring out how to use foods. So like some of the things they send us have like we've got like dozens because they just pile up because we don't use them. Like I have so many cans of salmon that are just like some salmon in a can. They taste fine. They're a pain in the ass to like prepare because they've still got some bone in them and the skin. And then like fry them and they disintegrate a little bit because they've been in the water and now there's a bunch of burnt pieces. I need to have a conversation with somebody who knows how those cans of salmon are used in cooking.
I mean, I'm sure the internet, somewhere on the internet, someone probably has suggestions.
Yeah, I don't. Ooh, salmon burgers does sound like a good idea. I don't trust the internet's recipes. I have so many times tried to do something because the internet said that it would work in food and discovered that what I had made is completely inedible, like on the level of like 50s Jello cookbook inedible.
That's fair. That's actually the reason I don't trust the New York Times when they post recipes. Because they do things like you should put cinnamon and nutmeg in your matzo balls, which is an affront to God, quite frankly. That was this last Passover. But no, I mean I get what you're saying. The internet is a very hit or miss when it comes to recipe ideas.
Yeah, like I want to have actual conversations about the things I have in my house with other humans who know how to make good use of the things in their kitchen. Because like one of the other things I want to be able to do is I want to be able to have the conversation where I'm like, this is what I got in my kitchen. Can you give me something that I can make with this? And then give me a thing. And then when they list the recipe, I can go, that other thing that you just said, I don't have that. And they can tell me whether I need to go buy it or Blythe, I will definitely hit you up about this. I might just like make a list of all of the cans of shit that I want to get through and don't. For a couple months, I was making chili like twice a week, and that was really helpful because we had a lot of beans.
Yeah. That's also just a good, easy, like you make a bunch of it, you can freeze it, and then it's you don't cook it again, you just unfreeze it.
Yeah, my diet was pretty good during that like month or two when there was always a pot of chili, but I have not kept up.
My issue isn't so much that I don't know what to make with stuff. It's that my brain, the idea of cooking in my head is like 20 more steps than I'm willing to do. So even though a grilled cheese sandwich takes literally 4 minutes to make, right? It is not a whole to do. My brain looks at that and is like, no, you have to get the bread out. and the cheese out, and there's a pan involved, which means you're gonna have to clean the pan later. Like, it's too much work.
I literally just forgot grilled cheese sandwiches exist. I forget that all the time.
My saving grace is like I have an air fryer, and it has been a lifesaver because you can make grilled cheese sandwiches in the air fryer, which means it's somehow less work in my brain. But that's my comfort food, and or my you need to eat something because you're being stupid food.
Another fun problem that I have with cooking is that my oven does not accurately predict what temperature it's going to be based on the dial. So like what I need to do is just spend a whole ass afternoon sitting in front of the oven, changing the temperature, and then like waiting, and then opening it and look at, because I've got a like thermometer in there, and opening it and checking what temperature it actually is and making a conversion chart. Because until I do that, I'm going to fuck up everything I cook in the oven forever.
This makes me want to send you an air fryer because it's just a convection oven. So it cooks things A, faster, and B, more evenly. And you put the number into the machine and it does the work.
Like, I'm gonna be honest, if you send me appliances, I'm not going to turn them down.
Listen, when I get my first check from my new job, we can talk. Because when I tell you that my air fryer is the one thing that has prevented me from like completely becoming incapable of cooking for myself, I'm not kidding. But ugh.
Hi, Michael.
Michael.
Blythe says, to be fair, you could also focus more on what the thing is supposed to look like when it's done cooking. I do that with stuff like salmon. Yeah, it's. I have one time the Survival Center sent me a pack of salmon steaks because like they just get whatever people donate, and sometimes people donate awesome shit. And I have told them that I like fish, which they have taken to mean I always want fish every month, which like I'm fine with.
I don't not want
it. I don't mind getting a plastic bag full of haddock every month.
I love that.
But like those, I just cooked in my skillet on the stovetop, and I just like every 5 minutes or so, once they started to look like they might be done, just checked them with a fork to see whether the meat came apart, and kept doing that until it did in the thick parts. And like that was super easy, incredibly delicious. I would absolutely do that every day. I cannot afford to eat salmon steaks every day.
That's fair. I'm a big.
I'm also pretty sure I would die of mercury poisoning.
Probably. I'm a big fan of like just a big old veggie roast. Like whatever vegetables are in my fridge, you chop them up, toss them in some olive oil, throw them on a sheet pan, turn your oven on to whatever temperature, and then you just check it every 20 minutes and like flip stuff until it looks like it's done.
One of my favorite things to do in the world is make ramen just like offensively fancy.
The egg, add some. I feel that.
Lately, the way I've been making it, I've been using either frozen zucchini or frozen spinach. Just taking one of the chunks of frozen fish and throwing it in the pot and breaking it up. About half a packet of the flavor packet, brick of ramen, and then onion powder, garlic powder, garam masala, ginger, salt, MSG, and saffron.
Oh, you mean like actually offensively fancy?
Yeah, no. It's
saffron.
It so incredibly satisfying. $5 of spice in 60 cents of ramen.
You know what? I support you. I love that for you. I'm sure some food critic somewhere is screaming because of stuff like that.
And then to finish it off, I add a little light cream, and then Eat it with a pair of mismatched chopsticks.
There you go. I have lightsaber chopsticks because I'm that bitch, and they do light up, and I have them in red, blue, and green. And sometimes I mix them up so that it looks like they're fighting when I use them. But I have a very interesting life, clearly. My whole brain just shut off.
Mm-hmm.
We're doing great here, folks. I promise.
Play a Trick on God says, if we're not offending food critics with our cooking, we're doing it wrong.
Agreed.
I don't know what the tag HJ means, but I agree with you.
I just, yeah.
Half joking.
I apparently don't know, like, internet speak anymore because half the time people throw letters around and I'm like, I don't know what that is, and I think I've turned into an old.
I don't trust tone tags. Like I when somebody's specifically the tone tag genuine reads to me as like it's like a kindness equivalent of I'm not racist, but like it's that it gives me that vibe.
Well, yeah, because like when people say things like I'm genuinely asking.
Yeah.
It's like, no, because you wouldn't have prefaced it that way if you weren't fully aware that you're about to offend me.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, there are ways that people can communicate the idea I'm about to ask about a touchy thing on a medium with very few characters, but I want you to understand that I'm doing my best to ask this kindly. Generally, the way that they do that does not fall into a well-established internet question format.
Correct.
Like, when somebody is actually trying, usually they come up with their own words and not just drop in a tag
right
after a stock troll question.
Or like they'll ask. A lot of times I find that people who genuinely do want to know something, they will ask it in a way where they're like, I understand this part, and here's where I'm confused.
Yeah.
Like, that's much better, because then I know what I need to actually parse out.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah, we were talking before we jumped on the live about the script I'm working on for tomorrow's video. Because, side note, re-putting together my grocery order, why can the store never give me the basmati rice I keep asking for? I don't know why they can't do that, but I do have a 10-pound bag of basmati rice if you want some.
rolling in basmati rice over there.
But so the video I posted today was about precedent and why it's bad. And it was like a 40-second long video. So it is not detailed. It is, in fact, and I put a note saying this at the end of the video, it is wildly simplified, and I would not even go so far as to call it an introduction to the concept. I have done my best not to be misleading, but like absolutely read more if this is at all interesting to you. So like I recognize it is extremely simplified. I don't want to say oversimplified because I was actively trying to go for like not oversimplified, but
you can't cram everything from a really nuanced topic into a 40-second TikTok.
Yeah, and it's also like super not necessary to communicate the point that I was getting at. Like the point of that video, and the video that's going up tomorrow is a specific example of why precedent sucks. But the video that went up today, the point of the video was, I think precedent sucks. And also, did you know the only places in the world that have precedent in their legal system are former British colonies because it is a specifically British thing? Because that's something I didn't know till I was like 25. And when I learned that and learned that like most of the world doesn't even have precedent in their legal systems, my existing frustrations with precedent as a concept became significantly more acute.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think also, like, it's a lot easier to tease out the fact that a lot of systems that are based in precedent are going to be inherently racist.
Yeah, I mean,
They're going to be inherently racist.
that is one of the main things, is like precedent is a way for, like, people in the comments keep defending it as like, well, like if the judges are good, then the like not all the judges can suck, right? Like if there are good judges, then like the majority of precedent will be good, and like there are mechanisms for overturning bad precedent. Um, yeah, Blythe says if the judges are good, is doing some heavy lifting there. Because the problem is not just that.
If we take a simple look at the current Supreme Court.
Michael says, so each case is handled in its own context and just based on the written law. As goes for everything I'm saying about the way precedent works right now, to say yes to that would be
oversimplified.
Yeah, like back of the cereal box level information about the system, but yeah, basically.
Yeah.
Based on the written law and depending on the circumstances and the place, the cultural conventions or the like social mores of the area. Like, so this is an aside, but we've got to fill an hour. There's a concept implicit in U.S. law called jury nullification. It's a very controversial topic. It is widely considered to be like basically illegal by the courts, but it is impossible to prosecute because the premise is the way that it works. It's an emergent law, or it's an emergent phenomenon that comes out of the way that the laws are set up. The laws are set up so that a person can't be tried more than once for the same crime if they've been found innocent under most conditions. That is also more complicated than that. And juries can't be held in any way legally accountable for the decisions they make. So if a jury looks at somebody who the prosecution has unambiguously proven did the thing, and the thing is unambiguously against the law, but they don't think it should be illegal, like say possession of marijuana, the jury can decide to rule not guilty on that. And the person would be acquitted, and that's like that person just gets away with that crime because the idea, people who support jury nullification, like me, would argue that it represents the continued existence and relevance of the changing mores of the culture being reflected in the law. People who oppose it very much do not want the existing, like the changing cultural mores to be reflected in the law, which is bad because the point of the law is to formalize what we've all already basically agreed should be illegal.
Yep.
Like that's why, and you will find, like if you talk to enough people about like law and like the idea of law and what's illegal, you will find that everybody has things that they are sure are illegal or are sure are legal for no reason other than it seems like they should be. Because like regardless of what, like according to the books, what's in the books is what the law is, but the like descriptivist version of what law means is cultural consensus on what is unacceptable behavior.
Right. The best way, like the shortest, most succinct way that I've ever explained jury nullification is it's the same idea as a judge legislating from the bench, except instead it's the jury choosing what legislation is actually valid.
Right.
So, which like I'm fully in your court on this. Because if our laws are supposed to be representative of, you know, the societal norms and social mores of its people, then why aren't we doing that?
Yeah. And I mean, the reason we're not doing it,
Again, highly nuanced topic. We're giving very like, if you follow it to its logical conclusions, it's going to be problematic because there's not enough information answers.
well, I was going to say, can I complain about liberalism on the TOCA stream?
I mean, you can complain about whatever you want.
So I was talking about the video that I was writing earlier, and one of the things that I talked about in that video is the idea that just because you're criticizing something doesn't mean that you want it to be destroyed or that you want it to be destroyed at all costs. For example, I think precedent is bad, and it is a bad way to run a legal system. I don't think that it would be coherent or good or appropriate to handle that problem by trying to remove precedent from the United States government, like as a task unto itself, rather than fully that is not the task of fully replacing the government, because every part of the U.S. government is built on the principles implicit to common law, and the core, like one of the core ideas of common law, like I think literally the Wikipedia article says that this is the thing that characterizes common law is the use of precedent. Every part of the U.S. government is built with the assumption in mind that there are things that part of the government doesn't have to handle because it will be handled by precedent. And that means that if you took away precedent, a lot of things that need to get done would not get done at all because the U.S. government does not have a mechanism other than precedent to do those things. If you wanted to get rid of precedent, you would need to replace the whole government with a government that was not built on the assumption that precedent will be filling functional roles. So all of this is to say, I'm about to criticize liberalism as a philosophical system. That is not necessarily to say that I think we need to immediately destroy liberalism or that destroying liberalism would be a good thing under all circumstances. There are many alternative governments that are worse. But also, other possibilities being worse does not exempt a bad thing from criticism. All of that said, this is a very fun stream. I'm glad I showed up.
This is what happens when you let me and you stream by ourselves with no one to be like, no one cares. We're both just like, let's talk about law and all of in which it could be better and how it sucks.
Right. So liberalism, when I say liberalism here, I'm talking about like capital L liberalism, the like dominant form of government in the world. Like democratic republics are liberal governments. Like liberal as in what John Locke was writing about. Liberalism is the political system that emerged from the larger philosophical movement that is generally referred to as modernism. And a lot of the values of liberalism are the values of modernism. Modernity. Some people are pedantic about that. Like, it's modernity when you're talking about the philosophy and modernism when you're talking about art. So I distracted myself by remembering a time when a teacher got really pissy with me. So liberalism shares values with modernity. One of the big are not art and philosophy the same thing? That's a complicated question, and I'm already working on a complicated question.
There's only so much buffering that the brain can do in one sitting.
Yeah. One of the values of liberalism is the idea of universality, of comprehensiveness, of the idea that we're going to be able to find ways to make the answer to every question consistent with the answer to all other questions. Michael, don't get me started on the definition of complicated.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I literally have a script on deck for that.
I feel like we need to rename this stream just like Office Hours with TX.
I mean, a good chunk of the function of this stream is just kind of being TikTok, like TOCA office hours. Which, by the way, if you guys have questions about how TikTok works, those please ask. Those take priority on this stream over me complaining about modernity.
I fully believe that if you held office hours where people could ask you questions about the videos you make, you could put that as a Patreon tier, and I would pay for it.
Is TikTok a tool of modernity? No, TikTok is firmly postmodern. Absolutely philosophical schizophrenia. Which, by the way, schizophrenia in philosophy and schizophrenia as a philosophical term fully means a completely different thing than schizophrenia as a medical diagnosis. They have a common root in Freud's misunderstanding of what schizophrenia was, but both went in very different directions.
I'm just really enjoying that the chat right now has kind of devolved into, these are words and I'm putting them together. Do I know what they mean? Does that matter?
Okay, so modernity values consistency. Liberalism values consistency. And the way that modernity as a philosophical system goes about the problem of ethics, in pursuit of the idea of consistency, is that there's this idea, and like you're probably familiar with this idea, whether you realize it or not, that there is an answer to what good is, like what everybody wants. And that, like, when we talk about what people want, what people value, what people would like the world to be like, we are seeing various like real world manifestations of that are like circumstantial presentations of the same inherent goal. And the idea is that every person has the same inherent goal. So if we can just accurately enough describe that goal, then we can solve morality, because we'll be able to come up with the correct answer for everybody for any situation, because we'll be able to look at that goal and determine how well the thing that you're saying you want to do serves the interest of pursuing that goal. So that belief that really deep down everybody is on the same team morally is a philosophical, like, is a foundational premise of liberalism. It says liberalism is the one where people think everybody has the same goals. Attempting to get myself back on topic. Like this is part of like the adversarial system of liberalism, or of common law. The putting people in conflict with each other to hash out what they think the best thing to do is. Under liberalism, the assumption is that will always produce the answer closest to pursuit of that one goal, because the idea is everybody in this room wants the same thing. We all just have very different ideas about how to pursue that thing in both micro and macro terms. So like deep down, everybody wants the government to wind up doing the same thing for the people. And so if we just get enough people in a room and have them fight it out, the thing that will tend to win is the idea that is closest to actually pursuing that goal. This is a core assumption of liberal. Like this is a belief so deeply baked into liberalism that it does, like when you talk to people who are like indoctrinated into liberalism, this sentence doesn't, like, the idea doesn't make sense to them. You know, the fish water thing,
the whole, wait, yeah. Which the fish doesn't know it's wet because it's lived in water.
Yeah, the two fish are swimming in the river, and an older fish swims by and says, "Water's nice today." And the older fish swims away, and then one of the fish says to the other fish, "What's water?" Yeah, like this idea that everybody has the same goal is like water to liberalism. It's an idea that most people in our society are brought up to not even really believe, just to not have any coherent sense of how it could be otherwise.
Mm-hmm.
And it's wrong. Like, it's not true. People want different things. This is what moral relativism is the belief that there is more than one ultimate goal, and that people differ in what their ultimate goals are. And so, like, when you are dealing with conflicts with people about moral issues, one of the things to consider is not just, do we disagree on the best method to pursue this goal, but do we disagree on what we should be accomplishing on like the most fundamental levels. And liberalism really breaks down in the face of that conflict, because it doesn't have any mechanism for resolving that. Like, there's nothing in liberalism that is meant to deal with the problem of, like, one of the political parties just fully not believing in democracy anymore.
A whole, yeah. Liberalism works if everybody is with the same set of rules, and that's not what's happening.
Yeah, it's I'm going to get back to the rules, because that was the thing that I was like heading towards in the first place. But it's not just that everybody's playing for the same set of rules, but that everybody's playing for the same prize. Right. Like, soccer would make a lot less sense if one team scored points for getting goals and the other team scored points for punching the referee.
But I would be so good at that kind of soccer.
Would you? But I imagine the referee would be better at dodging in that game.
Oh, no, I'm real good at punching.
But anyway, one of the philosophical implications of the idea that there is only one goal is that you don't actually have to talk about the goal when you're designing a system. Because if you design the system well enough, if you design the system to create coherence, if you design the system to force itself to be consistent with itself, then any interaction with that system is going to lead toward a better expression of the ultimate goal. This is like one of the main ideas of liberalism is that we don't need to be talking about what the moral goals are of any situation. We just need to be talking about whether and how people follow the rules, and what the rules need to be to create a consistent government. Because under the philosophy of liberalism, under the philosophy of modernity, the idea is that if something is consistent, that means it is good and correct.
Sorry, I was busy laughing at the chat. Listen, somebody wants to be the referee, clearly. But
and like, you see manifestations in this, and like things like trying to deal with the problem of systemic racism. Like, liberals don't want to talk about how the problem is race, because we should be able to just define a system that we can apply to all people that just leads to justice. And the problem with that is you can't make a system that is the same for everyone and also accounts for the ways that people have been systematically put in different circumstances. If you want to build a political system that is going to deal with systemic racism and white supremacy, you need to build a system that contains an intention to end white supremacy.
Exactly.
And liberal governments, like the liberal government system, has no process for having an intention, because the idea is you're not supposed to have, or like individual people can have intentions, but the idea is everybody's supposed to have their own intentions in their heart, and we all get together and fight about it, and the thing that comes out is going to be whoever's intention was the rightest.
which is fucking bonkers, to be honest. Like, I like that you use all of the eloquent words so that I can just be like, it's fucking dumb.
And like, I go back and forth on whether like it's liberalism was worth it, because like there are a lot of points to be made. Like it for a system compared to other systems of government, it lasted longer at minimizing bad faith interaction in the government than like monarchy does.
I would argue that I don't necessarily think that liberalism is bad in concept or even in practice to a degree. But I think that it has a finite timeline in which you can use it, and it cannot be the solution.
Yeah, I mean, this gets back to the problem of bad faith. Like, there is no solution to bad faith, because bad faith is literally just the state of deliberately trying to fuck with the rules in order to get what you want, even when what you want isn't what the rules are trying to do.
I don't understand why you would say those words to me. That hurt my heart like an attack on me personally. That one was a little close to home as a personal affront.
All right, so anyway, like, bad faith is inevitable. Specific manifestations of bad faith can be addressed, but when you build a system to counter specific manifestations of bad faith, over time people will figure out different exploits. So this is another problem with precedent, is that a legal system that retains consistency over time is less flexible in the face of newly developed forms of bad faith.
Right. Well, I also think it's one of the reasons that we see, like, as a practical example, it's one of the reasons that we see such a difficult navigation of the current legal system when it meets things that deal with technology.
Yeah.
Because it's not built to handle new things. It's not built to handle new processes.
And yeah, something I think we talked about a couple of weeks ago is that like the ping of the U.S. government is about 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Anti-cheat doesn't work when new bugs are found in the game, where the game is society and governance. Yeah, like, just think for a second about like the speedrunning community looking at the U.S. government and optimizing in any way. Like it like we are strongly encouraged as citizens of a liberal democracy to not put these things together. But it is so extremely obvious how intensely bad the situation is that we have like a contemporary population living in a legal system that was principally written over 200 years ago by people who had never heard of email.
Right. People who have never been annoyed by being pinged on Slack 4 times in the same 10 minutes.
Press Veto to skip through the next 3 levels, or things like if you want to speed run ending abortion, get something through the courts. That will be faster than getting a majority fundamentalist House, Senate, and Oval Office.
Right. Would we like to continue this conversation, or do we want a palate cleanser?
Give me a moment. I think there was another thought that I wanted to get to.
Okay.
I can't remember where the branch was that I wanted to.
Was it to do with the whole thing with the same set of rules comment?
It was right before the bad faith thing. Oh no, it was about the bad faith thing. Is it? I was gonna say that like bad faith is just like not a solvable problem,
Right.
And this reminds me of something Cory Doctorow said once in a talk. Somebody in the audience asked, "Isn't cryptography fundamentally pointless because Moore's law suggests that like we're just going to have increasingly powerful computers, and so like on a long enough time scale, every like code is like technology will ultimately get to a place where we are able to crack every code more or less instantaneously.
Mhm.
And Dr. O said, yeah, technology is not, or cryptography is not solvable, but it's solvable on time scales. Like, you can make cryptography that works against the stuff people are doing to break cryptography right now, and then you can continue to make more stuff. And like, that's like what it comes down to, is we're going to need to continue to make new governments forever.
Right.
I mean, whether you want to call them governments or not, whatever like strategies we're pursuing, they are going to be like, if everything is going as well as it could possibly be going, I believe that the government of 200 years from now would be completely illegible to me. I don't believe I would be able to predict a single thing about it, because anything that I could predict is something that is specific enough right now that over the course of 200 years of information technology level attacks, people will come up with a way to exploit that quality and make the government bad.
Right.
Like, every government is always just going to need to be solving the problem of bad faith in its time. And the US government is currently set up to solve the problem of bad faith in the 1750s.
Right. Yeah. I don't know. My brain is soup.
We can go for the palate cleanser now if you want.
Yes. Okay. Because I have more cards. Yay. Let's see. A genius youth teams up with his deceased brother's inflatable medbot, lovingly named Long Duck Dong.
I know this one.
I'm gonna read it again.
8/16 Candles.
Yes. Heck yeah.
I was like, I know that I know both of these movies, but I'm really struggling to remember both of their names.
Right. The nonviolent spiritual leader that ushers in an independent India infiltrates a Boston crime syndicate to flush out the rat nestled deep in the police department.
Gandhi parted.
Listen, sometimes you get them very fast. Let's see. Oh, Jesus. Johnny Depp cares for his obese mama and younger DiCaprio brother after losing their farm to the ravages of the Great Depression. Johnny Depp cares for his obese mama and young DiCaprio brother after losing their farm to the ravages of the Great Depression.
I can't remember. I'm just going to insert a word.
Michael got
or one of the words that I can't. Thank you.
What's Eating Gilbert Grapes of Wrath?
Yeah, no, I knew that it, like, I knew that it was the movie What's Eating Gilbert Grape. I knew it had like a sentence that was like, something's wrong with someone grape. I couldn't remember any of the specific words in the format of the title, apart from grape.
My brain is like, something's wrong with somebody's grapes who are angry. Just to finish it out.
Yeah, I had Grapes of Wrath, and I think I was going to say something like, what's up with Kevin Grape?
Why is that so much funnier? All right. An Earth girl befriends a mute yellow space robot with the ability to transform itself into a gigantic slobbering Saint Bernard. An Earth girl befriends a mute yellow space robot with the ability to transform itself into a giant slobbering Saint Bernard. Yes, Bumble Beethoven.
Thank you. I was like, I know it's Beethoven, and I know it's a Transformers movie, and I know it's not the first Transformers movie, and that has exhausted my knowledge of the Transformers movies.
So I was playing this with a friend, and I think I read her that card because her response was Transformers something dogs. And I was like, you're not wrong, but also no. Whoopi Goldberg shines as Celie, a woman who overcomes abuse and bigotry in the South to get medieval on some sexual deviance and enjoy a Royale with cheese.
Well, the second one is Pulp Fiction.
Yep.
Um, I don't think I know the first one.
Whoopi Goldberg shines as Celie, a woman who overcomes abuse and bigotry in the South to get medieval on some sexual deviance and enjoy a Royale with cheese. Can you work backwards?
I have nothing.
The hint for the first one is violet indigo plum.
The Color Purple Fiction.
Yes. Things that
I never actually saw The Color Purple, and like I didn't know Whoopi Goldberg was in it. So I was like, well, I haven't seen Whoopi Goldberg movies from like early in her career.
Right.
But no, it was a recent movie. I just didn't know she was in it. I mean, recent in the sense that I was alive when it was made.
Fair enough. In this film noir, a scheming Iron Man buddies up with Doc Holliday to attend irate emotional therapy taught by an old school Joker.
Could you repeat the first part?
Yeah. In this film noir, a scheming Iron Man buddies up with Doc Holliday to attend irate emotional therapy classes taught by the old school Joker.
I mean, I've got anger management. I've got nothing for the first movie.
The alternate title for the first movie is Smooch, Peck, Boom, Bang.
Kiss, Kiss, Bang. Wait, how does Kiss, Kiss, Bang? Oh, Banger management.
There you go. You can be mad about it. I'm mad about most of these. Listen.
I didn't make the leap that like because they had said like because they had referenced the Joker for the actor who played the Joker, that they just meant the actor who played Iron Man.
Yeah.
I was trying to think of like, was this a Black Sabbath movie? Is this like, do I not remember the subtitle of one of the Iron Man sequels?
I truly love that that's the immediate reaction is, did I miss an Avengers movie somewhere? Am I a man or am I a fuzzy felt being? Or am I a reanimated evil person that was buried in cursed sacred land meant for animal companions?
The Muppet Cemetery.
Yes. These ones are going a lot faster, I feel like, than some of the other ones we've done. An evil genie wow, that's not the word. An evil genie exacts revenge upon the street rat that banished him by shoving his dismembered body into a North Dakotan wood chipper.
I don't know the first one. The second one's Fargo.
An evil genie exacts revenge upon the street rat that banished him by shoving his dismembered body into a North Dakotan wood chipper. To be fair, it's a sequel. The first one is a sequel.
Yeah,
yep, there it is. Michael.
Yeah, no, I didn't know I didn't know the subtitle of
Aladdin 2.
Yeah, I think that I have seen it, but that's just like a vague memory.
My only memories of both the second Aladdin movie and I believe the third one, which is Prince of Thieves, is that while the genie is in it, he is not voiced by Robin Williams. So it's not.
Yeah.
Let's do. This one hurts me.
There's a new Stanley Parable? That's going to cost me some time.
You're like, now I know what I'm doing. A neurotic aquatic father searches the seas for his son who went missing in Textopolis while helping a visual representation of a human emotion discover himself. That second one hurts me. A neurotic aquatic father searches the seas for his son who went missing in Textopolis while
Oh
helping.
my god. Michael, did Michael get it?
Yes, yeah, that is it. It hurts me. Reading it hurts me. Like, I feel like I accuse you of psychic damage a lot, but that card is psychic damage in its entirely.
Hmm.
Um um, let's see. Sure, we'll try this one. Ride a luck dragon to the land of Fantasia and defend it from the nothing by building a prize-fighting robot boxer that ultimately brings you closer to your estranged son. Ride a luck dragon to the land of Fantasia and defend it from the nothing by building a prize-fighting robot boxer that ultimately brings you closer to your estranged son.
Yeah, I know that it's Never Ending Story, and I know like I have seen and really enjoyed the movie that is the second title. It's Robot Something. Something Robot.
I believe it is the Hugh Jackman fighting film.
Yeah,
It is The Never Ending Store Real Steel.
that's it. Thank you.
I never saw it, and every time someone describes it to me, my immediate thought is, oh, it's the live action Rock'em Sock'em Robots movie.
That is, without exaggeration, exactly what it is. And they did a good job.
Okay, well, maybe I'll watch it then.
Like, I'm not going to say that it's a mind-blowing film, but they did a solidly good job making that movie.
For what it is.
Not even for what it is. It's just a good movie.
Oh.
They made a sincerely good movie out of Rock'em Sock'em Robots.
I will take your word for it, and if I see it on a streaming service near me, I might even watch it.
Yeah. I would say for what it is standard, it is mind-blowing.
A Culkin boy knocks his noggin in a library, sending him on an animated quest to help a near-naked Dolph stop a realm-jumping Skeletor.
I don't know the name of the first one. I'm guessing the second one is He-Man.
Do you know what the actual name of the movie with He-Man in it is? It's not Wishbone. It does sound like it could be Wishbone, but it's not.
Yeah, no, the first one is something I remember seeing like a half an hour of on the TV when I was a child.
Oh, I saw the first one in theaters, and it scarred me, but I also loved it. It's a Culkin boy knocks his noggin in a library, sending him on an animated quest to help a near-naked Dolph stop a realm-jumping Skeletor. If you know the full title to He-Man, it's the second half of the title is the name of the movie.
I'm not going to get it. Michael said Heroes of the Universe. Is that the title?
Masters of the Universe is the second one. But yeah.
Was it Doormaster, Bookmaster, Keymaster?
You're so close. You're so close. It's the Page Master of the Universe. I just remember that movie specifically because, like, as someone who prefers books to people and has since I was very young, the idea of anthropomorphized books as friends was both horrifying and also, like, kind of a thing I would have liked.
Mm.
But Alright. So if you liked this unhinged stream of ours, and you want to support us, you can always find us on our Patreon, where you can help us to fund having other people come on the stream with us and also do like the research and stuff that we actually do as part of TOCA. But
yeah, we are at 9 o'clock. Michael, I'm sorry. It looks like Micah already put the box away. But yeah, we're going to get going. Thank you all for coming. I enjoyed this. We'll probably talk about TikTok on Monday. Bye.